In this video, I'm going to walk you through the script that's on my blog and walk you through the process of adding some personalization to your SharePoint homepages. With this script, you'll be able to create some visual links to different locations on your SharePoint site, or even external links that can be personalized so that they only appear to certain people. This allows you to get away from the showing every user every link on your homepage, to where you can now say, I want to show just the users in marketing these links and just the users in finance other links. So it allows you to add a level of personalization and visualizations to your homepage with just a little bit of effort. This script works in SharePoint 2013, 2016, and Office 365. It could also be tweaked to work in SharePoint 2010 if you wanted to go in there and change the REST query. So let's dive in and get started. Here we are in my Office 365 site, and we are in the site content section. To get there, you just click on the gear at the top right, and then you click on Site Contents. And from within the site contents, we are going to create a list to store all of the links and pictures for those links for our users. So we're going to click on Add an App. It is going to be a custom list, and we will call this list PAIT Apps. And it needs to be called PAIT Apps to work with the script. So here within our new PAIT Apps list, we are going to go to the settings by clicking on the ellipsis at the top right, and then clicking on Settings. And now we need to add some additional fields to this list. First, we're going to add a field for the link, and this is the link for where the user will go when they click on the image. The field type for this is hyperlink or picture, and we want to format it as hyperlink. The next thing we want to add is the field for the actual picture itself. So we'll call this field picture. It needs to be a hyperlink or picture field as well, but we want to format it as a picture. Finally, we need to add one more field that is a number field, and it is called order. And this will allow you, and make sure you select number, this will allow you to specify which order you want the tiles to appear in. Maybe you don't want it to be alphabetical. Maybe you want it to be a level of importance maybe. So this allows you to just specify that by putting a number in this field. So here is our list for all the fields that we need, and now we just need to come in here and actually fill out the information in this list. So let's go ahead. I'm just going to put this into quick edit view so it's easier to edit, and I'm going to create an entry for marketing, and the link for that's going to be, I'll just have it take it back to this page here. It's just a URL to wherever you want it to go. And for the picture, let's use a picture on our site. You could use any picture that you have a URL for, but we're just going to go to one within this site already. Under my images folder here, let's choose this image here. I'm just going to copy the URL for it and paste it in here and give it an order of 1. So now we just need to go through and add a bunch of rows of data for things we want. So I'm going to go through and do that, and then I'll continue off where those entries are in there, so you don't have to sit there and watch me add all those rows, as that could probably be pretty boring. So we'll be right back. Okay, so we have a few items added now. We have one for marketing, one for human resources, one for information technology, and then I've got some placeholders for a few more tiles just so we can have some tiles on the page. Okay, so we have this list called PAIT Apps with all of our links and images and titles for the images as well. So now that we have this list with the content in the list, we need to put a script on a page that will take this and turn it into our nice looking little apps launcher. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the actual blog post, the script from my blog post, and we're going to place it into our SharePoint site. And to do that, we're going to open up Notepad. You can use any text editor you want. I'm trying to keep this as simple as possible for those who may not know how to actually use this sort of functionality, or maybe even own an IDE. So we'll use Notepad. And we're going to just copy and paste the script from my blog. And for the most part, if you don't know what you're doing, you don't have to change a line of this. For those people who do know what this is, or how to modify this, we are referencing the jQuery library, another library called Masonry, which is going to be responsible for making this look visually nice. And then we're including the paitgroup.app launcher file, which is responsible for reading those items from the PAIT apps list and making them display on the page. We also have some CSS that you can modify if you want to make it look nicer. We then have this content div. It's going to hold those images, and so it's responsible for where those images will be placed on the screen. And finally, we execute the function that makes it actually start and do everything. And we can pass in a few parameters to this function. We can specify the tile's width and height that we want it to be. By default, this value is 100. And then we can specify whether we want to actually show the title on the image itself. Maybe the image represents the link so well you don't have to put a title on it, and you don't want to put text on it, so you could change this value to false. By setting it to true, it shows what's in the title field over on top of that image. So we've got this file. I'm going to save it locally. So let's save it, and we will call it PAIT apps.js. So now that we have that saved, we need to upload it to our SharePoint site. So I can come back into my SharePoint site, go to my site contents, and I need to upload this to a document library. I typically use the site assets library. So here we are in site assets. I'm going to upload a file. I'm going to browse to that file we just created, which was in our desktop. And it was called paitapps.js. So now this file exists in our site assets library. The next thing we need to do is put it on any web part page within SharePoint. I'm going to create a new web part page, but you could add this, actually you could add to a wiki page as well. So you identify which page you want to add this to. So I'm just going to go into my site contents. Then I'm going to go into my site pages. And I am going to add a new web part page. And we'll call this PAIT apps just to stay consistent. You can name it whatever you want. And we create that page. So now I'm going to add a web part to this page. And that web part is going to be a media and content editor web part. And now I'm going to edit the web part. And when you edit a content editor web part, you get this content link over here. And this is where we need to specify the path to that file we just uploaded, which was in our site assets library. And it was called PAIT apps.js. And then I can click on apply. So there we see we have our links. And if you noticed, it was actually a different size because there's some responsiveness to this as well. So I can actually reload the page when the content editor is smaller, and it resizes those images accordingly. And so we can click on any of these images. We get a nice hover effect, and it will take us to whatever we had that link going to. So this one happened to be my markradically.net blog. All right, so now that we've got this, you can see that you can pretty much add any links, any titles, any images. It has some responsiveness to it, so you're able to have it resized a little bit whenever the screen changes, which is all nice. But what now we need to personalize it. Let's say that we don't want people from marketing to see the human resources link. And to do this, we're going to have to mess with what's called item level permissions in SharePoint. I am not a fan of using item level permissions. I think they're generally abused. But for a scenario like this, with a small list that's easy to maintain, I think it makes a great solution to give some personalization to your site. So to add that personalization, so we're going to go to Site Contents, and we're going to go to our PAIT apps list. Now, if we don't want people in human resources to see this marketing link, we can click on the ellipsis here, go to Advanced, then go to Shared With. From here, we can click on the advanced link and it takes us to the permissions for this item. So for this item, the first thing we want to do is stop inheriting permissions because we only want certain people to see it. So click stop inheriting. And now we can actually go through and remove all the people we don't want seeing this on their home screen. So I'm just going to have human resources as my target for this link. So only human resources people will see the human resources link. And I can do the same thing for my marketing. Oh, that was for marketing. Sorry. So let's go back and do that the right way. I could restart the video and start editing again, but I'm too lazy. So we're going to go back into that. We're going to shared with. We're going to go to advanced. We need to grant permissions to marketing. See, so now you know how to grant permissions. And now we want to remove permissions for human resources. Okay. Now does that sound better? Now let's go ahead and fix the other one for the human resources. So to make human resources so only human resources can see it, we can go to advanced, shared with, advanced, stop inheriting permissions, and then remove everybody but human resources. There, so now only human resources will see the human resources link. So if we go back to this page we created, we can see that marketing human resources are still there, but that's because I, as the system administrator, have access to those regardless. So we would need to log in with someone who's part of the marketing department. So I'm going to log in with a different user here, and we're going to see how they see this page. So we're going to open up a new window, and we'll open it up to that PAIT apps page. And we want to sign in with a different account. So let's log in as Joe and see how Joe sees this site. So when Joe logs in, you can see that he does not see the human resources link. That's because Joe is part of marketing, and so Joe only sees the marketing link. So you can see how we can actually go through and set those permissions on each one of the icons so that only the people we want to see them can see them. And again, we can go through and change some of this to make it, if you don't like the size of the tiles, we can make them bigger. We can just open up the script we uploaded, and I can change it to be, let's make it 150 for the size, and let's say we don't want it to show the title. So I can say this, set this to false. And now I can save this and re-upload it. And that was again in our site assets library. Upload it. And now when we refresh the page, you can see the icons are bigger now and the title is gone because I told it not to show it. Still, we can click on it and get to where we want to go. So that's pretty much all there is to it. Again, you can drop this functionality into web part on your web part page or your wiki pages, and yeah, just have fun with it. I hope it helps. I hope I didn't go too fast and it makes sense to you, and thanks again for stopping by. Feel free to contact us at paitgroup.com. The email address is here on your screen, and we'd be happy to help you with anything like this for your organization that can help make SharePoint more usable for you.